Today's installment made possible, nope, not that one, made possible by Carhartt work boots because my feet hurt. Also brought to you by ibuprofen because why do my feet hurt so bad? So if anyone had made it all the way through the last one, you might recall these two knuckleheads facing off with one another. Guys, come on, knock it off. All right, let's just get on with it. So this will be the portal battle, and it's going to be a pretty simple affair. I think pretty much every effort is just a two-gate sort of a thing. There's a gate at the bottom and there's a gate at the top. And if memory serves, Blue Sky High was the one who decided to initiate these shenanigans, so he will be first out on the course, as this whole thing is, in my mind, his responsibility. Of course, he starts on Oblivion. He's historically had pretty good fortune on this obstacle, and today is no exception. So, the Phoenix, known here as Argentum, has never put rubber to these rocks before, and is actually doing pretty well. In the build video, I didn't really get to talk too much about the handling characteristics of the Phoenix. Without sounding too gushy, it's really good. Those tires still smell weird. They smell a little less weird, but it's really capable. I find that on steeper stuff like this, like transitional steps, the bigger overdrive isn't really much of a help. For most of this stuff, it will be in the low 6% overdrive. Seems to have more utility. The big overdrive really helps in turning. It really needs more side lug on those tires. So how are we calling this one, judges? That's round one to Blue Sky High, because back behind my rambling, Blue Sky High did that in about half the time, I want to say. So now just a little L bend here on the waterfall. This is the kind of stuff that portals are made for. This is most of the course around these parts. We either have smooth stuff that's just really brutal side hills, or we have this really blocky, broken up stuff. The Phoenix is really quite well behaved. A little dig, a little application of dig there, which helped quite a bit. The dig is so good. I have dig in my Capra, and that round goes to Argentum, who I did think had a bit of a smoother go at it. I have dig in my Capra, and I guess it's just the actual layout of the gearbox. The dig doesn't seem to engage as crisply. Like, there's a momentary delay when you activate dig in the Capra, whereas with the Phoenix, it's instantaneous. The rear wheels just stop turning, and it's much more handy. And then paired with that big front overdrive, you can really pivot the front end around. The placement of these two gates atop Drybone Valley are in a particularly bad spot. That slab up near the top is mostly overhang. So there's enough space for a wheel to get under it. So you have to angle it just right. And Blue Sky High kind of really didn't. But as with virtually every other obstacle on the course, Argentum, the Phoenix, has never seen them before. Well, he's booted a gate, and it has gone into speedy mode here because he just couldn't make that transition from dirt to rock. I don't know what that came to, and he hit the top gate. So that one's fairly obvious. Blue Sky High is going to take the point on that one. Blue Sky High now going to try Daphne's favorite line, the little narrow cut where you have to try to hug the fence, because if you don't get far enough left, you will fall into the hole. You can only see just the top of that. I believe it's like a manhole collar is what that thing is. All I know is it was really heavy and I had to move it by myself. So now Argentum, seeing what line to take, is going to try not to get too hooked up and try to stick close to the fence. See how we do here. It's just remarkably well behaved. Those tires, and not really the tires, but more the foams. The foams have not broken in yet at all. They are still quite firm. But the compound of the tires still, it seems pretty good. Like, it grips pretty well on most surfaces. I think where it suffers is they are quite narrow. So in dirt, particularly, they don't do too well. And the judges are going to give this one to nobody. That they did it in almost the exact same amount of time. It was still, I think it was within about 2 seconds. Blue Sky High now opting to attack one of the most frustrating and oldest obstacles on the course, because it's just at about the angle that a crawler doesn't want to go up anymore. I think it's over 45 degrees, right around 50, but those little rounded river stones stuck right in there. You either get something hung up on it. Either a tire gets under it, or Argentum's got his rear diff hooked on one, but he pushes it around and cleared that far easier than I thought he would. We're going to go to the judges, and it's another tie. They did pretty much the same job on that obstacle. So we're going to move on to the next one. This one, this side of Precious Stone's not used nearly as much. Very craggy. I don't know how much that shows on camera, but there's a lot of little holes to get stuck in. All of the hard coursework that I did early on, going through leftover sacks of concrete from pouring footers, I feel like I've gotten better at making an obstacle that's difficult without being impossible / frustrating. These sections tend to trend to where more towards you got to get it just right or it's not going to work at all. And we've got another tie. So the scores remain unchanged going here into the, I don't know, 5th obstacle. And we've got the, looks like a variation of the out and back on the side hill. Oh, we're going to round around the knob. Blue Sky High still not having the greatest steering angle in the world. I don't know if it's the soft sidewalls. He's got plenty of steering throw. He just can't do a really super tight turn. Like that turn around the knob at the top is something that would be really well suited to having a dig. And we will see if Argentum applies some dig. Heard some overdrive shift there. And he's got to use a reverse as well. It's really tight right there, and there's not a lot of room to mess about. He's just trying not to hit that marker, so he's got to throw another reverse on it and another reverse on it. It's like 4 reverses to get around that one. But in all fairness, his first time on the obstacle, so I don't know how much leniency the judges will have on that turn. And the judges say that's a point to Blue Sky High. At this point, it looks like he's running away with it. Moving on to looks like a horseshoe. 2 really tight gates on Sleeping Giant. That might have been a little nudge on that gate marker. I don't think he's going to be able to get that tight enough now. He's got to throw a reverse in. And now he's at a pretty steep angle, like all of his momentum wants to push him into that gate. And he catches it. It was clean right up till then. He needed to be more up towards the lion. We'll see if Argentum can learn from the mistakes. I think that's overdrive switching. See, the Phoenix can get really lean. Like, look at that. And not go over. Just give a little wiggle of the steering and drop the front end back down. Like, I don't know how it hasn't just rolled off the obstacle at this point. That driver's side rear is just off the ground. And he's through and he rolls, but after the gate. So he'd cleared the gates. So yes, that is definitely a point to Argentum. On to the Beast. This is looks pretty much like a carbon copy maneuver of the last one. Blue Sky High has already hit a gate. I think he took a big swing on this last obstacle. That angle is, I don't know if he's going to be able to reverse out of that. That's a bad angle to try to approach those gates. He could have gone wider. And he's rolled out. So all Argentum has to do is not roll. Like, he can clip one gate and would still have advantage on this obstacle. But that little hole is really difficult to get out of, as you can see. Argentum is not having a good time with it. He's never gotten to sample this one before, but he's found a left-hand line. Okay, that's definitely dig engaging there, but he's kind of high-centered up there at the top. Can he power off? Little judicious application of reverse. Gonna have to hit another reverse. Can he stay inside? Ooh, that is close. But he rolls it through clean. Very nice. So while I think it's relatively obvious, we'll go to the judges, and that does tie up the scores. So what does that mean from here? So it's a tie. It's just a tie. Like, we're not going to have a tie break. It's just going to sit in a tie. Okay, it's a tie. So this is just how it's going to stand, guys, judges. I'm being handed some papers here. Let's see. It's like typical boilerplate stuff. All right. We, the members of the judging panel, have determined that this competition has ended in a tie, as the first competitor has some advantages to be described in addendums, and the second competitor is going in cold on obstacles he has never seen before. So we've got some attachments that they've included. We've got the balance sheet for Argentum showing his relatively high CG And that document is immediately followed by the latest CG sheet for Blue Sky High, whose CGH has plummeted when his drivetrain was stolen and the castle system was moved into Argentum. So the addition of the Hobbywing Fusion has significantly dropped. See, in stock format, his CG was roughly similar to the Phoenix, and now he's got the lowest CG of any of the competitors here. So combine that with the perhaps arguable fact that Blue Sky High is on better tires and has significantly more wheel time, along with suspension tuning, and you arrive where we've arrived, which is a draw. And I think that's fair. This was Argentum the Phoenix's first rocks hit, period. Those showdowns on Blue Sky High have seen a lot of rock time. They are well broken in. And Blue Sky High has had a not insignificant amount of tuning done to get him sorted. So I think the results of the first official, unofficial Portal battle being a tie is really very fitting. Which will bring us to the end of this installment, which is mercifully under 20 minutes. So I'd like to, as per usual, take those last few seconds here to ask you to comment, like, subscribe if you already haven't, and if you've got the free time, you can look up Crawler Canyon on Instagram, where I'll be posting any updates on rigs and obstacles that are too small to fit in a video. So I think that's about it for this one, and I hope to see you in the next one.